Well, good afternoon. I know many of you are thinking, wait a minute, it's not 8 or 9 o'clock or 9:12 or 8:16 or whatever in the morning. No, it's 1 p.m. Eastern right now. Cass and I just did our daily or almost daily Human Bleed podcast. And I'm like, well, I need to get this. But mornings sometimes have a way of changing things. So do days, right? So here's day 33 of the Unbound Live. And after that, we'll see what happens. I've got a lot planned. For those of you who are interested and you want to see more of the work that I do more in detail, just DM me or leave a comment here, and I'll be happy to reach out to you. So there's 2 days left. And I want to paint something for you. Not teach. I want to paint. Paint. I want to give you the most honest and complete picture that I know how to give of what the amplified life actually looks like with in practicality, not the poetically, metaphorically amazing metaphysical mind that I typically do in this context, but not aspirationally either. Actually, in the specific daily, ordinary, extraordinary texture of a life that is genuinely free here. This is the thing that the whole series has been building towards. So I want to give it to you in full. Let me start where the day starts. A free morning, an unbound morning, an autonomous morning begins before the performance does, right? There's a moment before the phone comes on, before the logistics of the day begin to run their course, before the world has made its first demand. It's poetically something that I wrote last year called What If the Morning Woke to You? You know. And that's where the unbound person is just simply themselves. Before they even wake up, when their eyes open, they are themselves, present, ungoverned, glad to be awake. And nothing has particularly gone well. People, oh, yeah, it's the best day of my life. Yeah, man, you woke up this morning. Okay. I disavow that. That's good. And I'm glad for it. But if I hadn't woke up, I'd be glad for it. And nothing has gone really well when you first wake up. And that's not why you feel so free and so empowered and glad to be awake. And not because the circumstances have all aligned and everything is going well and the day that you have planned is perfectly laid out and it's going to be fantastic. But the unbound person is glad to be awake because they have a home. They have a home inside themselves. The quality of being in their own skin on this particular morning is it's enough. It's simply enough. And that's where it starts. In the ungoverned morning. The few minutes before the day begins when the person is just themselves. And that is sufficient. For most of my adult life, I did not know that experience. I performed it. A little bit of study, a little bit of prayer, a little bit of meditation, a little bit of coffee, a little bit of exercise, a little bit of whatever. Getting up early, I didn't know the experience. I performed it. The morning began with management. What I got to do today. Cataloging the demands of the calibration of the performance and the internal preparation for the day of being who the day required me to be. Now the morning begins with presence. Restful presence, no matter how I slept. And from that presence, the day proceeds differently. It's not perfectly, although I would argue that the perfect day is the day that you have because that's what was supposed to happen, but not perfectly in the sense of everything lined up. And certainly not without difficulty, but from a different place, from a place of realness, a real place. That's how the morning starts. That's how the day starts in an amplified life. Here's what relationships look like from inside the amplified life. You can be with someone without needing them to be anything other than what they are. They don't have to perform. They can get rid of the masks. Not because you've become indifferent or apathetic, because you've become complete. The anxiety that used to govern connection, the need for the other person to confirm your value, to see you in the right light or way, to respond to you in the way that would tell you that you're okay, that anxiety is quieter and honestly sometimes absent. For me, it has been 1,123 consecutive days with no anxiety at all, which means the relationship can breathe. It can actually be what it is rather than a container for your unmet needs. Okay? It can go somewhere real because both people are actually there, not managing their stress or their presentations of being there. And the relationships that you choose from that place are different because you're choosing from wholeness rather than from deficit, right? From genuine desire rather than from need. The people in your life and the amplified life are there because they are genuinely good for you and you are genuinely good for them. Not because there's some contract that requires them or history that obligates them or the comfort of familiarity makes the thought of their absence too threatening. See, those relationships, chosen freely, maintained genuinely, built on the actual people rather than the performed versions of those people, have a quality that I don't have adequate language for. As the French would say, je ne sais quoi. They are the most alive thing that I know. Same thing with work, right? Work from the amplified life feels different in the body than work from false self. Work from the false self is always slightly effortful in the wrong direction. There's a background cost that has nothing to do with the actual difficulty of the task. That's if you want to have a time management course that teaches this kind of stuff about resonant time and distortion time and things of that nature. This is the cost of performing the work in addition to doing the work, of making sure you look appropriately engaged, appropriately competent, appropriately whatever the invisible contract requires, okay? Work from the authentic, real, unbound, amplified self is just a task. It's the thing itself. It's just work with full energy available for the actual doing. Because no energy at all is spent on the performance of the task or life around you. And the quality of that work, the work that comes from the genuine place, is absolutely different. It has a specificity. I don't know why I always blunder that word. It has a very authentic, peculiar aliveness that other people can sense even when they can't describe what they're sensing. This is another je ne sais quoi, right? People say, oh, that's passion. Or what I get a lot, oh, that's just mastery. You've had so much mastery. What they're actually responding to is the absence of the performance. They're responding to the real thing, the reality, the truth. So let me tell you about yesterday, okay? Just yesterday, an ordinary day. I woke up, sat with coffee, let the dog out, kicked the ball, threw the frisbee a few times, and came back in, and this is before anything else came on, before anything. Thought about the mornings live, about what I wanted to say, not with anxiety, with genuine anticipation. Then I did some work yesterday. I had some coaching calls. I did some preparation, some writing, from a place of genuine interest in what I was building, not performing the building. And I think, oh, what are they going to think about this? Or who am I going to be here? Is this going to work? I don't care. Then I had a conversation with Abigail. Was actually there for it yesterday. Not half there while managing something else. Had a conversation with one of my other daughters. Met with the grandkids. Picked up Abby from school. Had a conversation with someone about something extremely difficult and complex. Stayed with myself in it. I didn't manage, didn't perform, didn't disappear into the facilitation of comfort at the expense of truth. And then I ended the day having done things that were genuinely mine to do in a way that was genuinely mine, from a self that was genuinely present throughout. I did my first swim of the season yesterday and didn't have a heart attack. See, that is an ordinary day. That is what the amplified life looks like from the inside on a Monday and a Tuesday. Not dramatic, not visionary, ordinary, genuinely ordinary, and genuinely alive. And that is a return on the work. And as a matter of fact, after the day was done and everybody was fed and everybody was in bed, then all of a sudden I had a request for a late evening call. Absolutely, let's take this call. And that call was very productive, very rewarding, and a blessing. That is the return on the work. Where most of the time we would say, oh, God, I can't do something else right now. So when you feel that, most of us feel that when we wake up in the morning. That's not freedom. And you can read books and you can do things and you can find programs and you can get all sorts of things and you can fake your way to the bank. But being free is the return on the work. That's what 35 days and 3 years of choosing the aligned thing produces. An ordinary Monday. That is, in fact, the best day of your life. The hall moment of the amplified life is the first time you look at your own ordinary day and recognize it exactly as the life you want. The honesty is this. Listen very carefully. This is mine. Not the life I was supposed to live. Not the life I was handed. Not the life I was performing for an audience that never quite gave me permission to rest. This is mine. And when that honesty lands, something aligns with a specific, settled, unshakable certainty. And the language that forms is the language of arrival, not completion, arrival at home. This is it. Right here, this ordinary, complicated, somewhat frustrating at times, alive, genuinely mine day. This is it. So today I want you to do one thing. Look at your actual life, not the one you aspire to, not the version you hope to have. Your actual life, the one you're currently living, and find one thing in it that is genuinely yours. One thing you would choose again freely, knowing everything you know. It might be small. It might not look like the amplified life as you've been managing it. But find the one thing that is genuinely, authentically yours. Hold it. Know it. Let it be real. Because that one thing is the seed of the amplified life. And it's already in the soil. It's already in your ground. Day 33. 2 days left. We're almost there. And I am genuinely grateful for every morning and now afternoon we've had together. Tomorrow, the invitation. Who are you bringing with you? And why freedom shared is freedom multiplied. So be well. I'll see you in the morning, and let's set you free.